Hello, in this video we will cover classes and object-oriented programming. We will see objects, class attributes, class methods, and two object-oriented programming concepts in Python, which are inheritance and polymorphism. Now let's open the Jupyter Notebook and start. A class is a blueprint for creating objects, and an object is instance of a class, a real-world entity created using the class blueprint. Attributes are the data stored inside an object or a class, and the methods are the functions defined inside of classes. Now let's see how to define a class. We will start with writing class keyword, and after that the name of the class. Let's say it is book in this case, and it should start with an uppercase letter. At the end there should be a colon, and we will get inside of it. Here will be the init function of the class. Init function is the constructor of classes, and they are called automatically when you create an instance of it, instance of a class, and they will set up the initial features. Let's see. Def double underline init and double underline again. After that I will write self keyword in here. Okay, this self keyword refers to the instance of the class, and it will allow access to the attributes and the other methods of the class within classes methods. We will see how can we use it. Now I'm going to write two arguments in here for a book, and they will be title and author. Those are going to be taken while creating the instance of a class, and in this init method we are going to call self.title is equal to title. So we will get this while creating the class, while creating the instance of a class, and we will assign its value to the self attribute as the self attribute of this class, and we will do the same thing with author. Okay, author is equal to author. After that I'm going to create one method of this class. Let's say def, another def in here inside of this class, and I will say show info. Okay, this method can be called when you after you create the class object, and let's say we are going to use self keyword inside of this also, and here we will return f and f string title, and we will take self.title in here because it is a class attribute, and after that we'll write author and write self.author in here. Okay, now let's run the cell, and let's see how to create an instance of a class, and we will understand what are those doing better in here. Okay, let's say book is equal to, we will call the class name first, and after that open parentheses and write the arguments that you have defined in the init method. Let's say name of the book is Animal Farm. Okay, and the author is George Orwell. Okay, let's run this also, and after that I'm going to call the attributes and methods of this class in here. Now we have this book object, which is an instance of the book class, and I can call the attributes and methods of it. Let's do this. I will call book, the name of the instance, and after that I'm going to write title. If I run this, I'm going to reach to the title of this book. Let's create some other cells in here. I can do the same thing with author, book.author. This will give me the author of the book. And I can call the method which was show info method that is defined inside of this class. So I can access it also. Let's write book dot show info. Okay, and as you are calling a normal function, you need to put parentheses at the end, and if you run this we are going to get title Animal Farm and author George Orwell. If you are using a code editor, of course after running it this way, you are not going to see anything. Since we are using Jupyter Notebook, we can see this. You can assign this to another variable and you can print it to see the result, but running the show info method returning the text that we have defined in here. Okay, now let's create another instance of this class. I will call it another book, and this will be equal to, as we did above, book, and here I'll write the name of the book. Let's say it will be the brothers Karamazov, and the author will be Dostoevsky. Okay, now I have created another instance of this book class as we did in here, and we have two instances of the same class in our system now. Okay, now let's call another book dot show info. I will call the same method, but this time I'm calling it from another instance of the class. So if I run this, I'm going to get a different result than this. I'll get titled The Brothers Karamazov, and author will be Fyodor Dostoevsky. Okay, this was how to create instances of a class in a very basic way. We will understand them better while we are solving the exercises in the next video. Okay, now I'm going to show you two key concepts of object-oriented programming in Python, and they are inheritance and polymorphism. Let's delete this cell and start with inheritance. Inheritance allows a class to inherit attributes and methods from another class. This class that is inheriting the attributes will be the child class, and the class that has the attributes to be inherited will be the parent class. Let's see an example of it. First, we are going to define a base class, right? This will be the parent class. I will call it class employee and write the init method of it. Init. It will start with the self keyword again, and I'm going to write here three arguments that are going to be inserted while creating the instance of this class, and those will be the name of the employee, employee ID, and the salary of the employee. Okay, now let's assign them to the self values to use them in our class methods. Self.name is equal to the name that we get from the user while creating the instance. Self.employee ID is equal to employee ID while the time that you are creating the instance, and self.salary is equal to salary. Okay, now let's create some methods of this class. The first one will be the display info. Display info method of this class. This is going to take the self in here, and after that it will return the information about the employee. This will be an f string, and let's say name is equal to self.name. Okay, and the employee ID is equal to self.employee ID, and the salary will be the self.salary. Okay, as you see now we can use those attributes that we take after assigning them in our class methods. Okay, let's create another method of this class. I'll call it def calculate annual salary. Annual salary. Okay, and this will take self again, of course, and after that it will return the salary times 12 to get the annual salary. This is the monthly salary. Okay, let's do this. Return self.salary times 12. Okay, now let's create an instance of this class. I'll call it employee, and this will be employee with uppercase letter at the beginning. This is the class's name, and let's put those three attributes in here. I will call it John Smith is the name of the employee. Let's say the ID is equal to 2268, and the salary, monthly salary, is equal to $2,000. Okay, now let's print employee dot display info. Okay, if I run this, I will get name John Smith, employee ID is this, and salary is this. And let's also call the other method of it. I'm going to print this one also, employee dot show, not show, calculate annual salary, and do not forget to put those parentheses at the end. And if I run this, we will get an error. Why is that? Because I write in here T employee, it will be employee. Let's run this, and we will get $24,000 as the annual salary of John Smith. Okay, this is going to be the parent class for us, and we are going to use those classes, methods, and attributes, and we are going to inherit from them. Let's say I'm going to create another employee, another class in here, and this will be manager class. Okay, and it will inherit from this employee parent class. So to do this, we are going to write the name of the class in those parentheses in here after writing the class's name. Okay, this will be employee. If we were not using we were not using inheritance, we would write here just the columns. But since we are inheriting from the employee class, we are going to put them in those parentheses. Okay. After that, I'm going to write the init method of this child class. Init. Okay. This will also start with self, and it will take the same arguments with this one. Okay. And in addition to this, it will also take the department. Okay. Department. After calling this one, we are going to call super method, and we will write init, and we will take those three attributes, which are name, employee, and salary. We are going to take them from the parent class. This is going to use to do that. Okay, and here we have another attribute, and we are going to add them manually. Edit manually. Self.department, okay, is equal to department. So we got all those things from the parent class using this super method. I will create another method in here, display additional info. Okay, this will be special to this manager class, and let's say base info, and we are going to take this base information from the parent class, and it will be done like this. Super, do not forget the parentheses, dot display info. By calling this one, we are going to get name, employee, and employee ID and salary of the employee, and we are going to assign it to this base info variable. And after that, we will return an f string, and it will start with the base info, which will be something like this when we call it. Okay, let's put it in here. And after that, we are going to add the department to it. Okay, at the end, I will put a comma, and after that, department will be self.department. Okay, as you see, we can use the parent class's attributes, and we can add some additional information special to this child class. Okay, now let's create another child class of this employee class. Before that, let me copy and paste some notes in here. Okay, this manager class inherits from the employee class, right, and adds a department attribute in here. It also takes attributes of the base function display info. It is taking it from this super display info method, and creates a new function with it. The function name is changed, and it includes department information to the return statement. Okay, now create the other child class. This will be developer. Okay, it will also inherit from this employee parent class, employee. And the init method will be very similar to this one, so I will copy and paste it in here. And here, rather than the department, I'm going to add a list in here as programming languages. Programming languages. Okay, and I will copy paste it in here. This will also take the name, employee ID, and salary from the super method of the parent class. And after that, it's going to add this programming languages attribute manually. Okay, now here, let's do a similar thing by adding a method in here, but this time the method's name will be the same with this one, display info. As you remember, we have changed it to additional info in here. Let's do this, display info. Okay, now it's going to be with self again, of course, and after that I'm going to also take the base info from the method from the parent class. Okay, this will be super dot display info. Okay, and after that I'm going to write the return statements. It will be an f string again. Let's put base information that we get from the parent class in here, base info, and after that I will add programming languages. This was a list, so I'm going to take it like this. I will use the join methods. Okay, I will use a comma, and after that I write that join, and I'm going to take this list's elements, self dot programming languages. Okay. Now what we did here is that I will copy and paste some other nodes in here. Okay, this developer class inherits from the employee class and adds a programming language attribute in here, additional to the attributes of the parent class. And after that, it overrides the display info method. So the method name is the same in here. This was different, and it includes the programming languages information to it. Okay, now let's create instances of those two child classes. I will call manager is equal to manager class. Okay, this is the class name, and I'm creating an instance of it. Let's write the name of the employee, Emily Johnson. Okay, and her employee ID will be 1526. And let's say her salary is $6,000 for a month. Let's do it with an integer, 6,000. And the department is IT. Okay. Now let's also create another uh, instance of this, developer class. This time, developer is equal to not manager, developer. Okay. I'm going to write as the name as James Anderson. Okay. And ID will be 1274. Okay, and the salary, monthly salary, is equal to $4,500, and I'm going to write the list of the languages that James Anderson can code in here, and those will be Python, Java, and C Sharp. Okay. Now we have this manager object that is inheriting from the employee class, and we can directly reach the display info method. Even if we do not have it in here, we have display additional info, but we can call directly display info method of this employee class from this manager's instance. Let's do this. I will print manager dot display info. Okay, if I run this, I will get this output. So we have reached the parent class's method directly from an instance of the child class. Let's also print manager dot display additional info to see the difference between them. Display additional info. Okay, if I run this, this will be manager. Okay, if I run this, I'll get the same output until here. So it's taking it from the parent class, and after that it was adding this department is equal to self.department information, and it is going to be like this. Okay, now let's do some other thing in here. I will print developer. Okay, developer dot display info. This time the method name is the same, but we have defined it in here. So the behavior of this method will be changed according to the things that we have done in here. So if I run this, I'm going to get the programming languages at the end. So this was, when we call this one, we were directly reaching to the parent class's method, but when we change it in the child class, as we did in here, because we have used the same method name in here, the behavior will also be changed. Okay, now let's run something else in here. I will call manager dot calculate annual salary. We have not defined any method like this in our child classes, so let's do the same thing with the developer in here. Developer. Okay, if we run those methods in here, we can directly reach to the parent classes methods, and we are going to see the results of them. Let's run this, and we will get the correct outputs from this ones. So this was inheritance. This was how to create child classes, inherit from the parent classes with putting its name in here, and also using super methods, and using the methods that we have defined in the parent class in the child classes, also changing the methods that we have defined in the child classes. Okay, now let's see polymorphism. Polymorphism allows methods to be used in different ways. A single function can have different behaviors based on the object. Let's delete this cell and create the base class, the parent class in here. This is class animal. Okay, and it's going to have a init method like this. It will take self and just the name of the animal. Okay, self.name is equal to name. Okay, and I'm going to create another method in here, which will be make sound. It will take self, and it is not going to do anything. I'm just going to pass it for now. Let's run this, and I will create 3 child classes of this animal class, which will be dog, cat, and cow. Let's start with dog. Class dog, and it is going to inherit from the animal class, the parent class. Okay, I will write the same methods as this one, make sound, and I'm going to return something with it this time. It was just passing when we defined it in here in the parent class, and I'm going to return the sound of the animal, sound of the dog, which will be woof. Okay, so I will do the same thing for cat and cow now. Let's do this. Class cat. Again, it will inherit from animal, and def make sound. It will return meow. Let's do the same. Cow. Cow will inherit from animal, and it is going to sound as moo. Okay, let's run those 3 cells. Since we are inheriting from a parent class in here, we don't have to write the init method of those child classes. If we don't write an init method, it's going to automatically use the init method of the parent class. And now let's create some instances of those child classes. Dog will be an instance of class dog, and its name will be, let's say, Apollo. Okay. After that, cat is equal to cat, let's say the name is grape, and cow will be an instance of the child class cow, and its name will be cinnamon. Okay, now let's take them in a list. Animals is equal to dog, cat, and cow. Now with a loop, I'm going to call those make sound methods of those classes, of those objects, and we are going to see that the uh, even if the method's name is the same, the behavior will be different for those three classes, for those three objects. Okay, for animal, in animals, okay, I'm going to print first the name of the animal, animal dot name, let's say says, put a blank line also in here, and after that I'm going to call the method, and it is going to return some strings in here, and we will concat them using those plus operators. Animal dot make sound. Okay, let's run this and see what happens. As you see, Apollo says woof, grape says meow, and cinnamon says moo. So even if, as I said, we are calling the same function, same method of the object, the method name is the same, the behavior is different, as you see in here. Okay, this was polymorphism, and this was all for classes. See you in the exercises.